This is a picture of a young Vincent Browne who was about to start out on a journalistic career that would span over 5 decades. In that time, one thing can be undeniably said. His journalism went places where many like him feared to go. He is now retiring from the show he presented for TV3 since 2007. But apart from his often entertaining late-night programme, he also had a considerable impact on Irish journalism. Browne's skill as an interviewer probably comes from the fact that he is a trained barrister. However, he chose journalism over law. Covering Northern Ireland in the 1970s, one of the most intense and violent periods of the conflict. He also started the magazine Magill in the same decade. And with Browne as owner and managing editor, the magazine had a distinguished record for breaking political stories and making waves with lengthy pieces on the arms trial and planning corruption in Dublin. Interestingly, he regained control of Magill earlier this year, so maybe his retirement will only incorporate his TV career. Browne fronted the long series of the People's Debates for TV3 in the run-up to the election. He travelled the country, visiting every constituency, inviting TDs and other candidates to answer questions from an audience of voters. Browne was often criticised by some of his fellow journalists because they felt that politicians were being harangued from the floor. But for me, it was democracy being truly exercised and a real testament to public service broadcasting. No matter what your views were, if you wanted to contribute, the opportunity presented itself to do so.
Don't want to see two women getting married. We want to respect our family values and shame the up with TD, Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, the Labour, the Greens, the whole lot of it. You're on your pack of corruption.
But one of the standout things from the series was the lack of engagement by many sitting TDs, particularly those in government.
Fine Gael informed us this afternoon that Fine Gael TDs would not be participating in the people's debates we were planning in all 40 constituencies around the country, even though we met every single reservation they previously expressed, including not having prospective candidates on the main panel. They also said that normal people do not participate in such debates anyway. They said last night's programme was a farce, for it was used by politicians to throw shite at each other. That is their words, by the way. We are planning for these debates to go ahead in all 40 constituencies with or without Fine Gael TDs, or for that matter, any other TDs or group of other parties or groupings. These are people's debates, and the essential point is of this exercise is to give people all around the country an opportunity to participate in the national debate on where our country is going.
During the economic crisis and effectively the takeover of the country by the Troika, he captured the mood of the people. And this for me was best encapsulated on this occasion.
As far as I can see or judge, and this is of course I have only a limited perspective, is very good. I'm impressed by the depth of the discussion in Ireland and the understanding of complex economic financial sector issues, which is revealed by looking into the Irish press, looking into the discussion, but also when I come from the airport with a taxi driver, they are often very well informed, I must say, very well informed.
That doesn't address the issue. We are required to pay in respect of a defunct bank. There's no bearing on the welfare of the Irish people at all. We're required to pay in respect of this defunct bank billions on unguaranteed bonds in order to ensure the health of European banks. Now, what would you explain, how would you explain that situation to the taxi driver that you talked about earlier?
I think I have addressed the question.
No, you haven't addressed the question because you've referred to the viability of the Irish financial institutions. This financial institution I'm talking about is defunct. It's over, it's finished. Now, why are the Irish people required, under threat from the ECB, why are the Irish people required to pay billions to unguaranteed bondholders under threat to the ECB? You didn't answer the question the last time, so maybe you'd answer it this time.
Well, I think he doesn't have anything to add to what he's already said.
Sorry, just a minute. This isn't good. This isn't good enough.
Sorry,
this isn't good enough. You people are intervening in this society, causing huge damage by requiring us to make payments not for the benefit of anybody in Ireland, but for the benefit of European financial institutions. Now, could you explain why the Irish people are inflicted with this burden?
Well, I think I have addressed the question.
You've nothing to say. There's no answer. Is that right? Is that it? No answer?
I have given an answer.
He's given an answer.
You have given an answer that doesn't address the question.
That's your view.
That is my view, and I think it would be the view of the taxi driver and the view of our viewers
The
tonight.
world that Browne entered journalism has inevitably changed. We are now in the age of 24/7 news coverage, newspapers are in a tailspin, and social media only grows more influential every election cycle. Fake news is now becoming part of the lexicon. But repeated cries of fake news only blurs the lines further between fact and fiction. Instead, what we need are journalists who know that telling the truth matters. Telling the truth about those in power matters most of all. It was the American journalist Edward R. Mora who said, "His duty as a journalist entailed, to be persuasive, we must be believable. To be believable, we must be credible. To be credible, we must be truthful." And for me, Browne fulfilled that duty. Browne retires from a completely different world he started his career in. He has made an extraordinary contribution to Irish journalism. And let's hope that he is an influence on the future of journalism, because as he often captured the mood of the nation during unprecedented times, he also never scared away from highlighting inequality and injustices in Irish life. At his best, no journalist did it better than Vincent Browne.
4 years after.
During the
How wonderful.
during
There's a
this year.
piece of the programme, government, and nothing done about it for at least 4 years.
First of all, I want to tell you this. That Matty is now professing to have a knowledge of what happened at a checkpoint.
Right.
He wasn't there.
This is-
And if he was there, he shouldn't be there.
Now,
And
Barnett,
secondly,
stop.
And secondly,
Stop,
if,
Barnett,
if he
Barnett.
pretends to have information
Stop.
as to what took place,
Barnett.
he's wrong as well.
Stop.
But the next
Stop.
thing about it is this.
Stop, Barnett.
It's that in a deeply unequal society, a lot of people die prematurely because of inequality. A lot of people have miserable lives because of inequality. A lot of people have terrible health because of inequality. Low educational attainment because of inequality.
Back to questions that you were asked before and debated before. Maybe we won't debate it now. The reality is, and everybody bar you seems to know this, you're a liability, not just to your party, not just to your government, but to the country, because nobody believes you. And also people know you're the guy most responsible for the chaos that has been caused. Don't you owe it as an act of patriotism to the Irish people to get out now? The European Commissioner is completely decided to make it.
Thank you for watching another video essay from Bushhead Presents. If you like the videos, please subscribe.